Good evening again. I'm Harry Singh. I'm the Vice Chair of the Land Use Committee. Unfortunately, our Chairman, Mr. Carl Stricker, will not be joining us tonight. As you've read from the agenda for tonight's meeting, we have scheduled a public hearing with respect to an application submitted by the Department of Transportation, the Department of Design and Construction, and the Department of Citywide Administrative Services regarding the acquisition of property located at Morolla Place, and it has to do with the reconstruction, maintenance, and inspection of a retaining wall for Pratt Avenue in the Bronx within Community Board 12. So the way the proceedings tonight will unfold is that I will ask representatives from the Pratt Avenue group to identify themselves, may make a brief presentation if they wish, and then we'll move straight into the public hearing.
So
Do you have any representatives?
Okay, this is Lon Murray from DDC Property Acquisition Unit.
Hello, my name is Megan Porter. I'm an environmental consultant for DDC on the Pratt Avenue retaining wall project.
I'm sorry, 1 second. Harry, I just want to remind our board members that their cameras must be on. Community board members, your cameras must be on.
I'm Michael Dragonaut with ACOM, consultant with DDC.
Hello, Jasmine Logan, DDC Environmental.
Aiden Benjamin, DOT, Capital Program Management.
Ron Bramson, DOT Capital Program Management.
Hello, Maria Centeno, the Department of Design and Construction.
Is there anyone else who is not a board member tonight?
Charlie Martinez, New York City Department of Design and Construction, engineer in charge.
Cameron Burrows, DCP Bronx office, borough planner.
Alina Dow with the Mayor's Community Affairs Unit.
Zickens Charles, New York City, DDC. I'm not sure if I was muted or not.
Hear you.
Should be good now, right?
Okay, so then with that, I'll ask for the representatives from the retaining wall project to make a brief presentation. It's discretionary if you wish.
Okay, so this is Lon Murray. I'm going to show a short it's not a short, it's a long presentation, but it focuses on two processes for the project. Everyone see the screen?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Okay. share. How about now?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay. So I'm gonna briefly go through the presentation. There are two processes on this project. One is the street acquisition, and the other one is the permanent easement ULUP action. So this hearing is mainly focusing on the ULUP part, but I will go over the project's purpose and scope of work. Okay. So basically, the project is it's a DOT Capital Project ID, HWXPRATT, the reconstruction of Pratt Avenue roadway and the retaining wall. So the project limit is basically on Pratt Avenue from Needham to the dead end, and the retaining wall wraps around onto private land, which I'll show you more later in the presentation. DOT to reconstruct the retaining wall, roadways, sidewalks, and curb. DEP to there's a new storm sewer that is also included with this project. The objective is to construct the damaged retaining wall that supports the built portion of Pratt Avenue. The project now is currently in design. It's anticipated to be completed in mid-2024. Construction to start in 2025 and construction completion in 2027. Okay, so these are just photos of what the cracks and the damages to the wall. Since then, DOT has done some repair to the wall, as well as installing some shoring to the existing wall temporarily until we put in the new wall that is 5 feet behind the existing. I'm just skipping through the Pratt Avenue portion of it here. Right here is a damage map for the 25 feet permanent easement that will go on lots over 12 and 15. And this is the hearing that we're in the ULUP process for that. So a total of 1,217 square feet of easement will be acquired on lot 12, and 1,813 square feet of easement will be acquired from lot 15. Okay, so I guess our consultant can just briefly go through the purpose of our easement for the private lots.
Sure. So this is more of a project overview one. You touched on a lot of it. Again, it's a replacement of the retaining wall along Pratt Avenue that supports the road. And so it would reconstruct Pratt Avenue to an additional 5 feet of width, install 300 linear feet of new combined sewer, and again, restore the roadway after. Next slide. And the purpose and need for the project, so as you saw in the existing condition photos, multiple signs of stress and damage. Some cracks have allowed the road to erode. Based on its current condition, it needs steel I-beam, and it is needed to retain structural elements in a state of good repair for the safety and access of those who live along Pratt Avenue. This would also preempt the need for last-minute emergency repairs done by the city. Next slide. And so this is ULURP action. The ULURP number for the project is 2021X0379. And this is the specific component of the project that is the subject of ULURP, which is the 25-foot wide permanent land easement on part of lot 12 and 15. And again, this is the purpose to reconstruct a retaining wall, but also in the future for city DOT to maintain, inspect, and repair the wall in the future. And so this project requires approval from City Planning Commission pursuant to ULURP. Thank you. Oh, and then I'm sorry, one more slide is just an overview of the ULURP process. we are here at the community board holding this public hearing, and after which we will go to recommendations are go to the borough president and then to the city planning commission, which then holds their public hearing. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Megan. So basically, this is probably going to be the last slide of the presentation. It kind of wraps everything together. It just kind of shows the Pratt Avenue street acquisition that is being done separately by DDC. And then the private land easement that is going through ULIP right now for lot 12 and 15. Lot 17 is the DOT property, so there's no ULIP for that. So within those two area of acquisition, the existing wall, which is shown here in pink, runs along Pratt Avenue. It wraps around to there's the adjacent lot with the house at the end with the driveway, and also including lot 17, 15 and 12. We're not doing ULIP for lot 17 because it's a city property. There will be a new wall that will be installed 5 feet behind the existing. Again, it will run the same parallels, the existing wall, wraps around all the way, as you see on the blue lines. And also there will be a new 15 feet, 15, I think that's 15-inch storm sewer that will be installed behind the retaining wall. So that's basically it for this presentation. The rest are just more details of the acquisition process for Pratt Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Any questions for the presenters? Any comments?
So Harry, it should be noted that there was a meeting at 5:30 with DDC, and a lot of the homeowners were at that meeting. So they may not be present here to ask any questions, but for my board members that are here, we do have 8. Do you have any questions about this? This is a project that predates many of our tenures here. I was in the buildings department when this project first came to this community board. As many of you may know, this is a very small project, but it's been 10, 12, 15 years in the making. One of the questions that I had that is a holdover from the previous presentation at 5:30 with the homeowners, and maybe this is for DDC, when you guys were doing the title search, am I to understand that you could not find the property owner, or were you able to, not a property owner, but like, I guess the person who developed this project? Like, did you find anybody who was responsible for this?
So our title searches, basically they go back on the deeds of each individual lots to find out who is the current owner or any interest party to the lot. I don't think it shows any type of retaining walls or any construction work on these title searches. They basically go through deeds in the past. For the past, it could go from like 30 to almost 90 years. So you can't really find out, the information about constructions or improvements that are on these deeds. Basically, you find dimensions of lots and property owners or liens and stuff like that, but not, improvements.
Okay, thank you. The reason I ask is one of the issues that came up at the 5:30 meeting was many of the homeowners were still upset that obviously you're doing work to the retaining wall, but there have been some issues with the unsettling of the homes. there's cracks in the structures and stuff like that, which the city is not undertaking. So I was just curious. I know that you guys said that they should probably reach out to the controller's office, but I was thinking of another set of homeowners in my district, Harper's Court, and some other properties that actually had to go after the developer. So that's why I was trying to figure out if you got in your title search figured out like who did this stuff.
George, there was some other investigative work done during the Bowler Avenue project during design. And we did find out that apparently that particular retaining wall was built by the housing developer at the time. But for some odd reason, it was tied into, as Luan was saying, with the property deeds. So, you know, yeah, it was a lot of confusion as to the ownership. So because it was tied to the deeds, you know, it in essence, if the city was to find was finding the property owner, the homeowner, for the condition of the retaining wall, right? And so, yeah, that was kind of how it happened. So it was really the developer who had put the retaining wall there to build the homes, and then when the LLC finished the building the properties, they did away with the LLC, and there was no one, like you said, you go after the developer. There was no developer to go after in this case. So there's a lot of history. Yeah.
I see. Thank you, Maria.
Okay.
Let me see if I can.
Denise, go ahead.
Yeah, just a follow-up question on that. I know that I realize that the LLC is dissolved, but can't you find out based on the names on the LLC because they often just change, they let that one go and then they create another LLC. So you can't track them down like that?
No, you're talking about many, many decades ago. Like, I don't know, it was like 50 plus, I don't know, God knows how many decades ago. So no, it has to be that particular LLC.
I don't think it was 50 years ago because I actually happened to live on Bowler, but okay.
Yeah, but it was decades ago. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was that one particular LLC. There was no other. It basically, we hit a brick wall. It went cold.
Okay.
What are they going to do?
Carmen?
Yes.
Did you have a question?
No, I was just saying, then what are we going to do with those? What are the people that are living there? What are we going to do?
I understand it. I mean, I have the same reservations as well. Like, what recourse do we have if something goes wrong with this and we're affected? Tolene?
Yes, good evening. What I'm trying to understand is, to me, decades and 50 years is a big difference. So do we have an idea of how long it is exactly? I mean, we're saying decades and you're saying 50 years. Does anyone have an idea?
I don't understand the question. I mean, I think tonight's purpose is that the city is acquiring the property and the retaining wall. So we cannot use public dollars on private property, right? So we have to go through an acquisition process, which is what we're doing as part of tonight, so that the city can then take ownership of the wall so that we can then do the right thing and rebuild a wall behind it. And so hopefully by fixing these existing conditions, the property owners will no longer have any, further issues with their homes. So this is where we're at right now.
Okay, I'm sorry you didn't understand my question, but my question was in relation to my community board member's question. about the LLC. And you mentioned that it was decades ago and then someone's 50 years ago. So I'm just trying to understand. Does anyone know exactly or approximately how long ago it was? It's just a question.
I guess apparently not.
George, are you there?
I am here. Maybe they don't realize they're muted if they're trying to answer. I don't know.
Okay. Hopefully that's what it is. Appreciate that, George. No, but I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you, and you're saying about how long it was and when you were. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to understand.
Well, so maybe Maria can help me with this. I was in the buildings department, and I would say this was Werner Defoe was the commissioner, and this was presented to us because the retaining wall was falling apart, the street was buckling, and as a result of that, the homeowners were rightfully demanding that somebody fix it. If I recall properly, when I was at the buildings department, the city law department got involved because they were trying to find out all the issues that we just briefly spoke about. You know, who owned it, who could we go after? Because let me just say, the city did not want to do this. And if the city had its druthers, I would say that they still don't want to do this, but they have to do the right thing, as Maria said, or somebody said earlier. They're trying to do the right thing right now. Because it's going to cost millions. If I forget what the project cost is, they can talk about this. They have to acquire the property. They have to, they're going to backfill the retaining wall, and then, they'll make some fixes to the. I mean, the road has already been fixed, but I don't know if they need to refix it. And they're going to do some work on the sidewalks because there was some damage to the sidewalks with the buckling. This has been again, I've been at the community board for 7 years. I was at the Bronx Department of Buildings for 5 years. And this was probably like one of the very first things that my boss, Donald Ranchty, brought to me. And that's got to be at least 11, 12 years ago. So it's been a very long process, and God knows how long it was prior to that. Like, again, maybe Ursula can weigh in. She's got the institutional history here. She knows how long she's been fielding calls about this. But for the community, they're grateful that it's getting done. I can tell you that the homeowners are thankful that it's getting done. The only thing going forward is that they were concerned about things that were happening on their private property. And how they were going to have to deal with that. We spoke about 3617 Pratt Avenue. That's the property that is the dead end property. Their front yard was vacated by the buildings department. That's how I got involved. That's so long ago. That person who owns that home has not been able to use their front yard legally because it's in danger of collapsing. So that's the severity that we're dealing with this. And again, they're grateful that it's getting fixed, but as everybody especially homeowners, that like stuff cracks inside your house, and they're concerned like who fixes that. I don't know that we have an answer. Again, I'm rambling here, but for other properties that we had very similar things, especially when I was in the buildings department, Harper Court being one of them, and I'm forgetting what the other name of it is, but they're right along the I-95 highway. They never got sign off on their properties, so they don't have certificate of occupancies. So that makes it difficult for them to get financing. That's not the case with these properties. But for those other properties, they were able to it was very similar. They had LLCs, they dissolved. They couldn't go after anybody. The New York State Attorney General's office was brought in. They could not figure out who they would sue in order to fix these things. There were other provisions in place that are not in place in this one. But I say all that to say, I think, we should be happy that this is happening. We should be positive and vote for it because we want the city to buy this property so that they can fix it. And then going forward, that's part of the package, is that they're going to continue to do maintenance on this, so that, you know, in the event that if the street falls into disrepair again, they'll be able to fix it.
If I just may add, and just to be clear, the homeowners, whatever damage they have on their properties currently, they have no particular recourse. They have to deal with that themselves. But what the city will do is to make sure that the retaining wall has no more, the deterioration that's taking place can be fixed, and that moving forward, they will maintain it, if I understand what you've said correctly.
Yes, that, you know, the city is not very kind to homeowners. If something happened, they're saying that the damage that occurred to their homes was the result of this retaining wall falling apart. But because it's on their private property, the city is not going to do anything. They can, I think what was suggested, and again, Maria can correct me, at the 5:30 meeting, that several of the homeowners were there. I think they said that they could file claims with the controller's office, and then the controller's office can make a determination based on, you know, whatever determinations they use, or, you know, whatever they try and figure out, if there's going to be a recourse for them to recoup any sort of monies for the damage that occurred to their homes because of this retaining wall.
That's correct, George. We are here to fix the wall. We are here to fix the roadway on behalf of, and some of the subsurface, you know, work like the sewer, and that's on behalf of DOT and DEP. We do not use public money for private property, and so I think that was explained to them. Unfortunately, that's probably not what they wanted to hear, but it's not our purview. You know, our agency doesn't handle that. The only way that they could, you know, possibly take their argument would be to the controller's office. So we recommended that they, you know, seek some type of advice from that particular agency who might be able to advise them or point them in the right direction.
Harry, you had something to say?
No, I mean, I think as this discussion unfolds, I think it's very enlightening, and thank you, George, for clarifying that. Thank you, Maria. So are there any other questions? Are we ready to move to a vote?
We don't seem to have any other questions.
Okay. How are we handling the vote?
Well, is Ted still here?
No, Ted.
No,
Ted
Ted
actually
left.
wrote that he had to leave.
Do we still have 8 people?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Caller, you on twice. Alfredo, are you still with us?
Let's get Ted back.
Alfredo's with us. So that's
Alfredo is with us. Yeah.
so we have the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Myself, Harry, Carla, Miss Judith Benitez, Keisha, Miss Denise Bonds, Talene, and Alfredo.
Cool. You guys can take a vote if there's no
I'm
other
here,
questions.
guys. Sorry, I'm just moving around, but I'm here, Alfredo.
Thank you, Alfredo. We'll be wrapping up shortly.
Okay, I'll start it off. I vote yay.
Ms. Benitez, do you take the vote? Do you take the vote?
No, whoever, one of his, anyone who sits on his committee.
Okay.
I'll take the vote.
Okay.
Is there a
Thank
motion?
you, Harry.
Committee, who made the motion from the committee? What is the motion? What are we doing?
How are you making?
Are we in favor?
So would you like me to do it?
Are we in favor or whatever? What is this?
I'm sorry.
First, make the motion.
Denise, if you could make the motion.
Okay. I'm just thinking of the phrasing. I make the motion that we accept the plan coming from the city in reference to the retaining wall on, forget that, Harper Avenue. No, I'm sorry, Pratt Avenue. Pratt Avenue.
And I second the motion.
Harry, let me second the motion for you, please. You're the chair.
Thank you.
So I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Denise, second by Judith.
And now you need who is in favor?
Me, Harry. Harry saying yay.
Keisha Martin, yay.
Denise Bonnier.
Carla Borsari, aye. Yay, aye. I don't know what we're.
Judith Benitez, aye.
Alfredo?
Aye.
It's Carla, yeah, yay.
I
Tolene?
Tolene.
Charlene Dickerson, aye.
I vote aye. Beatrice Coronel?
Did
I
Carmen,
think, yeah, Carmen's still here.
did she vote? She's on mute.
Carmen? You're muted. Carmen Ortiz, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Go ahead.
This thing ran out.
Carmen,
Yes.
what's the vote?
My
How do you
vote is
vote?
yes.
Okay, great.
Okay.
It's unanimous, Harry.
I think the ayes have it. It's unanimous. I think the motion passes at this point. And George, what happens now? It's forwarded to the general board.
Yeah, we'll take it to a vote for our October 27th meeting, which if the mayor does not extend the state of emergency for the city, will be in person on the 27th.
We'll find out on the 22nd, right, when it expires.
Yeah, it expires on the 22nd.
Okay. Great.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Great.
You're welcome, Harry.
The meeting ends at 7:43, October 12th, at 7:43 p.m. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, Harry. You too.
Good night. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Harry.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night.